thing about the Grateful Dead, like I said, it's very much a cultural revolution in a lot of ways because they grabbed this thread that went through all these different American musics, and also this almost sort of like mythical thing.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, the reason why they were so significant more than the music, because there's obviously so many people, even as a sort of true Deadhead, I'll be the first one to say there's many people playing music way better than those motherfuckers.
Right.
But the reason that they were so significant is that they built this thing that was like almost like in some ways the last great American adventure. You think about people like hopping trains and shit. And that's basically what was happening. There's people traveling and you're just diving into the unknown with some people you may or may not know and just checking shit out and seeing America in a way. Also, while technology was growing, and they were technologically extremely innovative. For example, front of house sound, the idea of mixing from in front of the stage was invented by the Grateful Dead.
Really?
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
As somebody who's done live front of house shit before.
That was invented by them.
Had no idea.
Specifically by
because-
their sound guy in the 60s, yeah.
And that was such a shift in technology on stage because it's like you were going from, I mean, you see the old photos of like in the 60s and 70s, all these like classic rock bands, they have the giant Marshall stacks on top of Marshall stacks. And it's like, you needed that. You had to have like 2 Fender Twins and fucking to just be able to project enough on
The sound
stage
for that many people.
That was the sound.
Now you got the fat like line arrays and shit.
And so
You can only imagine why these bands were like, because like you said, there's a lot of people nowadays playing more tightly and more proficient or whatever, but it's like no wonder it was such a mess back then too, because
Jimi
it was
Hendrix,
like you could barely hear what the fuck was going on,
Yeah.
especially on like a big stage, because arenas weren't even like a thing until the early 80s when you had that technology. You got fucking Freddie Mercury at the Wembley Stadium or whatever. It's like building a whole thing. But man, that's like I appreciate you putting into context, because like we all sort of joke around about, hippies and wooks and Grateful Dead and jam bands and stuff.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, oh shit, I'm part of this now. Where I'm like,
it's ubiquitous.
like,
There's
shit.
things that everybody who plays music nowadays are involved in that came from the Grateful Dead. And it's not, there's no workaround from that. If you do
making 5 songs into a 4-hour whatever, like, it's like,
it's a special thing.
Yeah.
It's really weird, man, because like it almost isn't about how well they played. And the magic is when they would find that fucking wave and play well for a whole night.
Right.
And they'd be the first. That's the thing that was so great about them and why they were so likable.
These guys are so good for how high they are.
But they would be like, anytime you ask them, they'd be like, it only really works every once in a while.
Right.
We kind of suck.
It's just
We're just trying to figure out how to do what we do good, because like nobody's really done this before.
It's kind of like stand-up almost too.
Yes.
Where it's like you see the special at the very end of it, but you don't see all the sets where they bomb in between, where it's just like they're working out new shit. That's crazy, man.
But their fans did. And that was the thing, is that they were the people who loved them were there when they fucked up royally.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were just like, it's all good, bro.
Right.
It was like a big, hairy, fucking high family.
It's almost like the bands like live for like those moments where like it was like a hit, but it's like I'm gonna be here regardless, and like I can say I was here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And you know what, the other thing that really revolutionized things too was the tape trading, because one of the things that they allowed after a certain point was people coming in recording the shows in an amateur way, which led to other major innovations in technology. So people, like for example, like they're called the tapers. They would build these big rigs and they would put stereo. You think about like the Zoom recorders,
right? And that's
the only reason that exists
now,
is because of the Grateful Dead. Because people following the Grateful Dead, they would put these big fucking things up, high enough so that you don't get the people chattering,
right?
And just face in a stereo recording and record it to a tape before there was anything digital, and then there was a whole scene trading shows. And so you would go and you'd be out there on the road, tripping balls like a wook, and then run into somebody who knows somebody who has the tape to your first show.
Oh shit, yeah.
And you'd be like, can I have that?
Give me that.
Yeah, let me make a copy for you.
Yeah.
And so like just think about how significant that is to somebody
Right.
before the internet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dog,
The
if I-
internet in and of itself became a component of that. And actually the Grateful Dead they were very deeply involved in the creation of the commercialized internet because of tape trading and because of show trading.
It's like the Grateful Dead and then hardcore pornography.
Yeah.
Right there in the terms of the cutting edge of technology.
And they were both probably doing the same thing at the same time.
What do you think about the movie that they're gonna do? Do you hear about this?
With fucking Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill as Jerry. It's Scorsese. You're a Scorsese fan?
What?
Yeah, I am. And I'm a Jonah Hill fan, but like,
See how this goes.
I'll watch
If he
it.
cuts
probably.
off his finger for real,
I think it's silly.
they're gonna CG.
I think it'll be fun. I think it's just a biopic, but I just think that any of those things are fine. Whatever. I think it's cool, and it'll probably be fun. It will not capture that.
Yeah. If you want to get the full experience, you got to listen to ZUDECAST episode 76.
yeah.
Dude, you just broke it down for me, man. I'm
For
like,
real?
that's
Yeah.
expert.
Nah, yeah. That was
I'm
awesome.
definitely
Like,
about to, tap in. For sure.
Yeah. Tune in. Yeah. Tune in and drop out.